Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Do you get it now? Of course you do. It has always been in your face. Always. Just by going down into the little nuances of the words, rather than saying the things that you think you know, just questioning it, and the answers have always been there. What that means, tragically, is that for people all around the world, their susceptibility, if there's such a word, is very powerful. It's like somebody there being uh, totally under the influence of a cold or a flu or some sort of an ailment. That is how susceptible, I can't pronounce that word, that is how susceptible we are to lies, because we are by nature believers of trust. We work on trust. That is that. The solar eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, which is taking place in the southern hemisphere, as it were, will be taking place on the 30th, which is Saturday tomorrow. Now, the eclipse itself essentially marks a period of darkness for the humans, for corporations, and all of those people that have now become synonymous with this word, empire of lies. As I have said to you before, the profound nature of the lies, which is what is so breathtaking, in our imagination, we actually cannot comprehend the significance of 100% lies. I've tried. I can't. But the corporations, the solicitors, the lawyers, the judges, all of these people that have successfully, historically, have got our trust, believing that the courts do something honorable and they have justice in mind, when they are all being caught out as part of the bureaucracy of an empire of lies. Lies beget lies, and to cover that lie up, they cover it up with 1,001 lies. The solar eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, although these are astral bodies moving around, or we're moving around them, for them, these lunar people, these lunatics, as the word suggests, part of that shadow world as well as the mirror world, are totally dependent upon keeping the people as ignorant as possible, totally dependent upon them keeping the people in a world of shadows, moving in and out of trance state, what they call the phantom zone. This is the area where it almost lacks light, but is not totally dark as well. The transition period between that which is totally in the open, that which is totally in the dark. And through the use of the words and through the use of religion, of course, is a fallacy. You know that. Every single one of them is a fallacy. Buddhism. Anyway, we don't need to list it. And that is part of the mirroring world. Your ability to do mirroring is how many images can you create within a mirror? And the answer to that is as many as you want. Hence, this phrase that the legal fiction is limitless. These people create so many shadows, they themselves can easily get lost into it. They can't pull themselves back out unless they're very well anchored. The anchorage, ladies and gentlemen, is their absolute need to lie to you. On Saturday, that will mark the end of their world. Quite literally, their dependence on their ability to perform shadow games or shadow puppeting, and the ability to use mirroring called legal fiction. The reason why is because I broke that code and shared it with you folks. Yeah? What's the significance of it? You see, if you think of it as a magician's trick, hence the Tricks and Traps University course that I hold, if you think of the tricks that the magician performs, you know he's a magician, so he's not lying to you. It's a trick. He's telling you it's a trick. The enjoyment you get out of it is how did he do it? It's wonderful. It's mesmerizing when a magician does it because he's telling you it's just a trick. Yeah, that's all it is, just a trick. You see, when you break a magician's ability to perform that trick, the magician can never, ever perform that trick again. You understand? So imagine what is the trick that the Home Office or the Foreign Office or Washington, D.C. or Vatican City or any one of them perform on you. What are those tricks? And if I break that trick and share it with the world, they can't perform that trick on you. You get it? So what use is a Home Office or a Foreign Office department if you have broken their code, their ability to perform that trick? I think you guys get it. Look, I'm transmitting a little bit earlier than I wanted to. And from now on, I'll essentially be transmitting whenever I got these times. So at this moment, I had an hour, so I thought I'd put used to it and tell you about the solar eclipse. The solar eclipse, however, will be followed by another eclipse, which is called a lunar eclipse, which I'll come on to later. Now, the Federal Reserve Bank and all of these central banks, their ability to perform that trick on you has been broken successfully over 10 years ago and publicized more and more by all those thousands of other people on YouTube, that the Federal Reserve Bank have got nothing to back it up apart from the lies that they have told you. That is their currency, is the magnitude of people out there that they successfully lied to say they're giving you credit when it is you that is giving them credit, and they're printing that credit off and giving it to other people, hence their funny quasi-chummy buddies, but not you. But you gave them that credit. And then you went and signed an all powers of attorney giving them custody of your children and everything else, even your voting rights. Hence in Ireland, they found that out because the government just simply turned around and said, well, go and bloody do another vote until you get it right. They're openly telling you, you have no rights, no nothing. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, you get it. Of course you do. But your ability to overturn it is just as easy, which I taught the world how to do. for me, I had to struggle with the fact that maybe over 90% or less, hopefully, are actually not men and women. They're all walking, talking humans. And that sense that I had caused almost kind of an eclipse of the light in me when I realized I'm not dealing with men and women, but I'm dealing with walking, talking, dark forces, cursive in its nature. Boy, it was like being whacked with a cricket bat over my head. You either go down or you kind of stay with the pain. It's quite a profound moment. I'm sure it would have been a profound moment for you out there as well. So let's go to the, just to remind you where we are. This is the solar eclipse. Solar, oddly enough, means the sun. It's actually another word for one. Like hen solo. It means one. It actually means the one creator. That is the creator out there sitting there. Mathematically, scientifically, physically, faith law, the whole lot recognizes that just by logic alone. Yeah, it's quite extraordinary, and we're only given this access to this knowledge because we're coming out of the darkness. Yeah, just to remind you, on the 25th, which is a Saturday, tomorrow in the northern hemisphere, you're going to have a solar eclipse. That's when the moon, let's find a little moon. Let's imagine that's the sun, and the moon is just going to pass over or in front of you, being the earth, as it were, passing over. Okay? That is that. Now, remember also on the 16th, you're going to have a blood moon. A blood moon is a lunar eclipse. Okay, and that's when the moon appears very reddish. How big and how red it will be, I do not know. But 18 days later from the solar eclipse, you're going to have a lunar eclipse. That marks the end of the shadow world. The shadow world. And the 1001 shadows it casts, all coming to an end as I break more and more of the code. Hence, there isn't going to be a coronation, which I told you there will be no coronation, because I broke the code on it and told you people. And you people shared it with other people, and the magician's trick was broken. Hence, there is not going to be any platinum jubilee. That's the power of you, ladies and gentlemen. That's the power of you folks out there. Just to remind you, if you want to know about the conflict in Ukraine, the bombing, as they say, well, these are live feed cameras that you can look at. And it's got video, it's got audio, it's even got, you see this little bit here? It tells you where the sound is coming from within that area. So it detects the area of the sound as well. I mean, they're quite sophisticated, tools, are they not? You know that movie Jason Bourne, when the CIA agency has this think tank room with all the computers and monitors that monitor Jason Bourne? And I'll tell you later on, not today, what Jason Bourne actually means. It's horrible, when you think about the mechanism, how the hypnosis takes place. So whenever you see the BBC, and if you pay the TV license in the BBC, you're breaking the law. You're breaking the law and participating in crime. Yeah, I've done videos on it, how to stop it. And all you have to do is just go to my website, download it, send it to them, and there is no TV license for you. You just need to do it in your hundreds of thousands and you'll shut them down. So, you remember that scene in the room where they pretend to hack in to cameras all over the world and trace Jason Bourne going through the train stations and so on and so forth, and they give you the impression that the CIA is a multi-billion, trillion-dollar organization with vast amounts of, resources and hacking ability. All they're doing is logging into Livecam, a Skyline and things, and pretending and broadcasting that only specialized people can do it. And here it is. This is their speciality, to take that which is in the open and mystify it so much that you get to believe they're following you around. Oh, the cameras are already on you. Yeah, they're already on you, making sure that you're safe. They were there as public safety, not for the purpose of spying, but they give you the illusion that they're spying on you. So you will say, no, we don't want to be spied upon. You understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? This is how the empire of lies work. Like, for example, I take a simple thing called MMS. Yeah, I mouthwash with it in ability to regrow my gums, as it were, because they started to recede. And I did that about 6 years ago with success, but I neglected it. Hence they, receded again. But I'll get it back again. And they'll hide that and tell you, it's a bleaching agent. Well, sunshine is a bleaching agent. Ask any blonde person, if they stand in the sun, what happens to their hair? It gets bleached. That's the language that they use to rob you of that which you already have. Oh, the sun is a bleaching agent. You need to protect yourself from the sun. And then you don't get vitamin D, and the possibility of cancer cells multiplying now becomes real. That's that's one fragment, one sliver of the empire of lies. I told those two brothers, I'll be coming for you, and I'll be asking one simple question. Does this little boy or little girl exist as a living man or a woman, in whatever language they choose or I choose? The rest will now follow through is imprisonment for you. Because if you have lied and used this transmitter of wire fraud, that carries a prison sentence. You can transmit as much as you want, but you don't have the ears and the eyes, and most importantly, the heart of the people. I have that. I have it, the frequency that touches Ben Nevis to Big Ben. That 1 second pulse, I have it. And that was proven 3 years ago. Same in Hawaii. All 13 mountains, all 13 mountains in every continent I'll be resonating from as the 13th of the 13th month. I have sent, I'm sending treaties to the Department of Justice, which runs the penal codes, and prison sentences will be following of the evildoers, or be what we call the wicked people, the part of the empire of lies. Interpol is a sparsely funded organization, but I will be sending them treaties and putting them to work. I've also instructed I'm going to instruct one of my secretaries to put into place those people that think that they can disappear to be found by these international detective agencies, private detective agencies. Nobody can hide from me. Nobody. Yeah, and you will never be able to hide in your screwed up world where you have harmed living, breathing people. Just to remind you, yeah, it is tomorrow a solar eclipse. And this thing that we call the Empire of Lies, and it's not originating from the United States alone, it's actually global. The Arabs are involved as well. And I've written, so I keep speaking in past tense. I'll be writing to them as well. We're talking about today, actually. Writing to them to correct all these things. In fiction, we call it cease and desist. Yeah, it's called cease and desist. And in factual words, it's called stop and correct. Now, with Jim Humble's technology, and when I met him, I think it was 4 years ago in Holland, he made me the counsel for his organization. That's on record. And one of my duties as a planetary judge, and master is to safeguard these knowledges as well as give proper accreditation to the men and women that created it. So I will be safeguarding that technology, the knowledge of it, just as Jim Humble asked me to do so. So this message is for the pharmaceutical industry and other agencies. Listen carefully. The person that you have with him, if anything happens to him, I come after you. And even though I have met the person that looks after him, his so-called girlfriend, I'm going to give you a direct message now. If you walk away in good faith and good honor, telling him what's actually happened, I'll leave you alone. That is it. Anything less, the consequences of which you will not be able to fathom. Okay? Those are my instructions. And I'll be giving those undertakings to your controllers, just as I have done now. Walk away in good faith, good honor. None of the technologies or the copyrights to his books or anything belongs to you. That which was done by fraud is done by fraud. And all of these other half-witted people around him, walk away now. In regards to what they call Scientology or Hubbard's technology, if you have anything to say about it, the Inland Revenue, or be it the pirateers out there, you know where to come and find me. That too will be protected and ring-fenced for protection and credited to the correct people. That which was done and stolen is stolen. Now you know I have full access to this word called private. Behave yourself. Anything less and you will suffer the full consequences. As it was wonderfully said, come unto me, little children, that will suffer unto me, little children. I've forgotten the entirety of the verse. It's been a long time since I was a theology student. with George Christian Azariah. That is that, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy our lives. Share this video. If you've got no one to share it with, then you will have problems in life, because that's a sadness of condition. Okay? Oh, one more thing. I sometimes get an email or so. Actually, let me cover the element of emails with you. You see, for those people that want to email me, they are only open to men and women. They're not open to humans. I don't talk to them. For men and women, before you want to talk to me about mortgages or anything else, IRS and so on and so forth, you have to study my website. I mean, study it like if your life depended upon it, and then contact me and email me. Okay? What that does is that it puts you on the same level as I am with you and you are with me. And for those people that are constantly asking for freebies and think that they have a right to something that they have not worked for, that they have not even studied or even studied my website, please don't even bother emailing me. Just go away. Okay? Go away. I only deal with men and women. Nothing less. Anything less, I can't talk to you. That much becomes obvious. It's part of an entitlement society that you folks have been bought into and allowed yourself to walk yourself into that jurisdiction. And hence, you have little or no control over your life. I can only speak to men and women, and that's the only people that are allowed to email me. Anybody else, just go away. This includes people that call themselves whites, blacks, Chinese, and so on and so forth. I have no interest in your culture. I have no interest in your religion. I have no interest in anything but that which is level playing field, men and women. Anything else is just a bloody fiction. Just a fiction. That's all you are. Okay? That is that. If you want to make statements, go and make it somewhere else. If you want to write to me in bullet points, not an entire thesis. My secretaries are instructed not to read it. It will be just deleted. Write to me in bullet points, and that's it. Most of the time, you only need 2 or 3 bullet points. Okay? The background noise that you're hearing is from these live cams, which I think I should switch off. Let me just get rid of this. Yeah. And the other background noise is the song of the nightingale that you're hearing. A beautiful song. Did you know the repertoire of the nightingale, and just at the dawn of the 19th century, was said to have like 200 to 300 is like 200 pounds to 300 pounds of repertoires. Repertoire it's like an entire chapter of a book. And then they thought it repeated. Recently, we found out their repertoires can last half a day. That means there's no repetition for half a day. You and I cannot produce anything like that, not even for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds. You would be like Elvis Presley times 1 billion, or Rodriguez times 1 billion. Yeah. Why am I telling you this? If this was nature, and this was you, we have yet to touch nature. because the empire of lies pries us apart, like a baby being torn away from its mother. That's why we're so disabled. And all the other animals out there, they are so much more than we are. My hope is that the population of this world will find it in themselves to become men and women. People, as they say. Do you remember when I did and exposed the CO2 fraud, letting you know? Sorry, I beg your pardon. When I exposed that fraud, there was a comment, wonderful comment on the comment section of my YouTube channel. And he or she quite literally said, once the CO2 goes down, the oxygen level will deplete with it because they exist in ratio. Drop one ratio and then the other one drops as well. Everybody understands the importance of ratio when making concrete. Yeah, break the ratio, you don't have concrete. You understand? Of course you do. Would you like to see what CO2 looks like? What it actually looks like, CO2? I want you to stick your head out the window and look at a tree. That is a 100% representation of CO2, that tree. That tree is CO2 in biological crystallized formation, in biological crystal formation. That's CO2. When the corporations, the earth masturbators, as it were, all of these organizations, and which I get so upset about, talk out of their backside. They want you to reduce your CO2, which means they're going to kill off the trees. You understand the significance of what I'm saying? Once you break the magician's trick, they can't perform that trick again. They'll never be able to sell CO2 to you again, that you got to reduce it. You reduce the CO2, you reduce the oxygen supply in the atmosphere. You want to see a 100% representation of what CO2 looks like in its biological crystal formation? Stick your head out the window, and that tree is what it is. If you want to pluck a blade of grass, that's also what it looks like. That's 98% or 96% CO2. We have to, cater for the water content, which is H2. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Water, yeah. Sorry about the listing of the words. It's just, I sometimes get so annoyed with the level of fraud as I unravel their fraud, how bad things really nearly got. Counting for H2O, you know what that means. That's what they want you to reduce. The ability to Earth to heal itself when it is monodioxide or monoso, whatever it is, I've forgotten. I just completely, get so enthralled by how easy it is to unravel fiction by just simply asking some question. The heavy industries have turned the table on you, and so has the world of fiction. They know if they went around and told you that you need to reduce the oxygen supply in the atmosphere, you will object. There will be a greater level of resistance. So they prime you for CO2 rather than, say, carbon, because another word for carbon is CO2. If you want to look at another representation of what CO2 is, or carbon, that's you. They want to reduce you. That's what carbon reduction means. I think you folks get it. Thank you.